Action.
What do you do for a living? And do you like what you do? Or do you do what you do because how much money they pay you? I know me personally, right now I work in the gig economy, right? And so it's never, hey, what's the job? Most of the time it's just how much money is it? $35 an hour. Oh, hell yeah, I'll do that. But $35 an hour doesn't include no fringe benefits, no insurance, none of that, none of that. Right now, I think most people are driven by, hey, how much is it and not what am I doing? And so you be sitting next to a person and you hear them say, I make $1 million a year. And it piques your interest. And so you say, oh, wow, you make $1 million a year? What do you do for $1 million a year? And the person so casually says, I shovel shit. And you look and you're supposed to be disgusted. Normally you would be disgusted, but $1 million to shovel shit, holy. You look at this man, and you say, I'll shovel shit for $1 million, right? Everyone thinks they'll do the thing until they actually have to go and do the thing. It sounds good. $1 million a year sounds amazing. Until on day one, you're out there by yourself in a lake full of shit. And you say, holy Christ, I don't get no insurance. There's no benefits. I don't know what's gonna happen. And I can't even. On day one, you quit. I don't know what that breaks down to, how much money you made for that day, but then you have a story for the rest of your life. You say, one time, right? Somebody paid me to shovel shit, huh? That's how we sell ourselves. Like in the market, the labor, the people who do the jobs, we also consume the products. And so whatever we choose to do, hell yeah, like if we don't do the work, then it won't get done. Like if no one says I'm gonna shovel that shit, then they're gonna have a whole bunch of shit on their hands. They're gonna have to figure it out. They have to go hire Elon and get some Tesla robots or something like that. So I think it used to be impolite to ask a person how much money they made, but now, hell, shit, everybody's a hooker on these here working streets. How much money? How much? How much? How much? And I was listening to this podcast called Martyr Made, and this guy, he's so in depth with his research. I thought journalism was dead. If there's no one there to pay you, since everyone's incentivized by money, if there's no one to pay you a guaranteed salary to go and write these stories, then I didn't think that these stories would be told. But this guy for the Martyr Made podcast, he told a story about creating unions in the 1800s for coal mines. And he talked about this fiery old woman who made it her duty to go and fight on behalf of working men in America because at the time, she probably fought on behalf of working women too, wherever she could. But at this point in time, she was fighting for coal miners and their families. And man, bodies, they took lives, right? On both sides. There was casualties. The coal miners, they had to fight back against the owners of the coal mines who hired security guards to make these people work. It was like some type of indentured servitude. You can't leave here. The crazy shit, the crazy shit. And when this woman talked, she talked in the terms of class. She didn't say race or anything. She said class. In those coal mines, it was a hodgepodge of people. It was freed slaves. It was escaped men. It was Irish people. America has always been this weird melting pot of everybody who's just trying to make as much money as possible. You know, in the American dream, right? To have a house and a family and all that. And so everyone's just trying to get it. But while we're trying to just have a regular life, lots of businesses are trying to take advantage of us so they can make as much money as possible. Why? Why? You know, there always has to be a why. Like with everything you do, there should be a big ass fucking why. Why am I doing this, huh? Like even if someone pays you $1 million to shovel shit, you're like, why am I doing this? And so I spoke about this woman from the Martyr Made podcast because number one, she put two things in perspective for me. Number one, this is a class thing, right? Working class people, no matter how much money, man, if you don't make enough money to sustain yourself in America, it's a really tough situation. And if we don't have that conversation, if we don't say, damn, it's hard out here, no one's listening. Number two, no one's listening. And so if we don't work together in collaboration and say, man, $40 an hour or $1 million an hour to shovel shit, that's just not enough money. If we don't begin to negotiate with each other so we can negotiate together, collective bargaining. There's terminology for all this, right? There's terminology like if we work together, then we don't have to sell our booties, right? We don't have to be hookers out here on these labor streets. If we work together, if we all say we're not going to shovel shit for $1 million, if we all say that shoveling shit is at least $10 million, and we have to have healthcare on top of it, then all of a sudden the shoveling shit industry changes. And that's all industries in America. I brought up that woman, man. I have to get back to that lady because she's an American hero. She fought for the American worker, understanding the American worker drives this nation. It ain't no communism. Hell no, because in communism, the state owns everything. They own you too. And so, like, if as we move forward, we're supposed to be progressive. We're not supposed to look at the past and say, oh man, the answer's in the past. No, communism shows us in the past hundreds of millions of dead people. That's what communism shows us. And capitalism, it shows us exploitation, and we exploit other nations, and we do fight wars on a continuous basis, but god dang, it's not 100 million. It's millions, it's not 100 million. And the lesser of evils of it. Can we be honest? Can we be honest? God damn, can we tell the fucking truth? And so if we're going to tell the truth and how we battle back against one of the most powerful regimes in the history of the world, how do we negotiate with Donald Trump? Say, hell, man, if you don't, we won't. You hear me? It's very simple. Like that's how Congress negotiates with. That's how the president negotiates with Congress. That's how Congress negotiates with the president. If you don't, then we won't. And hell, man, that's like the greatest thing ever. Like we ain't even gotta go nowhere. We ain't gotta do nothing. It can start with social media platforms. But like, man, if you don't give me ownership of all my data, we're talking to Meta, the owner of Facebook. If you don't give me ownership of all my data, then I won't post to your platform anymore. And all of a sudden, Facebook turns into MySpace, and guess what happened to MySpace? I don't even think that shit exists no more. Like this is the power of the worker. This is the power of the consumer. That gets me excited. But we're not having this conversation because you don't want to talk about your money. You don't want to feel like you're not getting paid enough. It's a competition. Everyone's competing for nothing. Like literally, we're all competing for nothing. We're all competing, and we don't have anything. All the money keeps rising to the top because we ain't working together. Hey, if you, I don't know if you pay attention, but in business, companies, they merge all the time. So big companies get bigger because they want to control the market. And American workers, we control the labor market in America. Before AI becomes completely autonomous, so we're no longer needed, we control the labor market. And so just hypothetically, if the American worker, like tomorrow, said we're not going to work today, then guess what happens to America? They have to negotiate with you. Because if they don't, then we won't. Because you're the greatest American alive.
The Greatest American Alive.